Hi, friend. Right. So I was doing your chart and I was going to write everything out and then talk about it, but I feel like it's more fun when you watch me. It's just more like spontaneous and fun for me to talk about it as we go along here because I understand storytelling and I understand editing, and this is just what's going to work. Okay? Okay. The book that I'm using is this book right here. It's called Planets and Aspect, all right? And basically this is the cheat book right here. I'm having a hard time with the camera. I'm not used to this way. Forgive me. And this right here, this is the cheat code. So if you want to be able to read anybody's natal chart, you get this right here. Basically, you go online to one of the free sites. It'll give you a free chart for an in-depth reading. Just send me $60 and we'll tell you what's in this book, which is a $30 book, I think. So that's what I do for my friends. My dad is the one who introduced me to all this stuff because he recognized as a very young person, as a very young man, like 17, 18, 19 years old, somewhere around there, that he was mentally ill, that he had problems. And in order to help him with that mental illness, he got into astrology. Personally, that's pretty admirable. At least he's trying to solve a problem he knows he has. My point being is that's how I came into this. Planets and Aspect is the book I'm using. And so basically, let me put this here. Right, so here we go. This is your birth chart written out in a form to where I can look it up. Okay, I just got through with your conjunctions. You got your trines down here, and you got your sextiles right there. Okay, now these are the major influencers. You also have like secondary planets that influence you too. And the way your chart is going, I dare say if I look at your secondaries, it's all going to point to the same things that your North Node and your Chiron and your Ascendant is pointing to, which is authentic self, independence. Well, let's just get into it then, right? What this celestial body represents is the wound and the healer. This is what wounds you and will also heal you. Your North Node, also big influencer, represents the same thing. And then your ascendant, which is Scorpio, that's your rising sign, by the way. So if you're on TikTok and you ever hear Scorpio rising, that's you. It's one of the many planets that influence you greatly. It represents the wound and the healing. It symbolizes the deepest wounds and how to heal. Aries highlights wounds, challenges related to self-identity, the ability to assert oneself, masculinity and courage. Okay, so you struggle, you're struggling with authentic self. You struggle with no. Here it is again. North Node in Aries represents your soul's path. This is your soul's path right here. And the lessons for personal growth and fulfillment. It's about embracing new directions and becoming your authentic self. Aries is assertive, strong energy, leadership, action, initiative, independence. That it's like tripled down here. The universe tripled down on you, right? Ascendant is Scorpio. Like I told you, your rising sign, also known as the ascendant, is Scorpio, which is intense, transformative personality, deep emotional connection. You often exhibit charisma, loyalty, and resilience, but may also struggle with jealousy and vulnerability. Now this, I'm smiling because there's other parts about this. Oh, get out of here, dirt wasp. They're harmless, but they're annoying. Here we go. Sorry about that. Now, what was I talking about? Right, this whole triplet thing. The Scorpio rising. The key traits, Scorpio rising. Okay? Emotional depth. You are deeply loyal. Strength and resilience. You have the ability to overcome all challenges. You don't even think about not being successful. That's how strong it is in your chart. You don't even think you're not gonna succeed. You just do it until you succeed. Like, super resilient, fiercely protective of loved ones. And here with the Scorpio rising, which we were talking about, is the jealousy and struggles with vulnerability. People often perceive you as reserved and aloof, but often find you extremely friendly and welcoming once you get to know a person. You are often known for intense eyes, defined facial features, and magnetic energy, right? Also down here with your North Node in Aries that I mentioned before, which represents the lessons for personal growth and fulfillment. You're one of the things is for you to be true to yourself, and yourself is leadership, action, initiative. That is you. So it's important for you to always remain in that zone, feeling that you are taking initiative, that you are independent. Those are the things that rock your soul, and that's how you remain in alignment. That's how you maintain your authentic self, is being independent and a person of action. Like this is all this is. Courage. It's all here, that's your self-identity, right? And you struggle with it. So we move on to conjunctions, right? These are your conjunctions. I just got done with them. At a very active chart here, okay? So this is going to be a minute, and that's why I wanted to do it this way. That way you can come back, you can pause it, you can go back and be like, what did she say about this, that, and the other? Like, I'm trying to facilitate that, because I've done this before with friends, and it's overwhelming. There's you got a lot going on. So I think this stuff is fun, like I told you. So we'll do it this way. Right, so you have conjunctions. These are your conjunctions. You have Jupiter and Uranus, Venus and Saturn, Jupiter and Pluto. I already know what these are all going to say, because conjunctions are like underlying things. It's like conjunctions are superpowers. It's like reinforcing your soul's thing. And I'll show you what I mean. Here we go. So the first one here we have is Jupiter conjunct Uranus, which means you are generous in your personal life. You love and understand the importance of education and the scope of education. Like you get why it is so important to educate yourself on a very profound level. And this has fueled, right? Here we are with the competitive and jealousy thing. I'll talk about that because I saw something I want to share with you. And it's good. Venus conjunct Saturn. You give more than your partner, and you're aware of this. You understand that you give more than your partner does, but you feel obligation towards people and that you are being used, right? Like, you feel like you give more and that people are using you. But you have good judgment. You have financial diligence and discipline. Your affairs reflect that. True, true, true. Rules and regulations. This is Venus conjunct Saturn. This is all in the same thingy. Rules and regulations are good for you in the work atmosphere. You work better independently. You can work with others, but you prefer to work privately. You don't need some supervisor, hey, what are you doing, micromanaging? You don't need that either, at all. Your romantic interests are serious, sincere, and honest. You need someone who respects you and you respect them. Your lover must be tactful, polished, and have a strong, admirable character. You're repulsed by vulgarity and disturbed by disorder. Like, I love that. Your family integrity is super important to you. You will always back away from things that might threaten the family. If there's an outside thing you're involved in that threatens your family, you're gone. So you are very loyal. It's important you look at the bright and positive side of life. Very important for you. Negative attitudes bring negative effects. Problems in the throat glands may have a similar origin. A cheerful but authentic outlook can improve your well-being. There it is again. Authenticity. You have to monitor that strong obligation you feel towards other people. You have to really monitor. It's in your character, so you have to make sure you're reining it in. Saying no is a part of being authentically you. Here's another conjunction, which these are the things that uplift your soul path, the meaning to your life, what you're supposed to be doing, which is living authentically. We've learned this. Jupiter conjunct Pluto. Enjoy life to the fullest. You enjoy life to the fullest. You have enormous drive and ambition. Impatient to delays in your dreams. You are driven by an insatiable appetite to get the most out of your potential. Okay, and this is where I was laughing, because I'm like, here it is. This is how a potentially negative, quote unquote, aspect of you works to your favor. Your Scorpio ascending, which is heavy influence on you, has the struggles with jealousy and competitiveness, right? But look, driven by an insatiable appetite to get the most out of your potential. You see how the jealousy and competitiveness works to your favor? Because you're not looking at the person saying, it's not fair. You're looking at the person like, oh my God, I gotta catch up. Like, it's not that you're holding jealous, malicious feelings towards the person. You're holding jealousy in the sense that you know your potential. And why am I not here? It's not malicious. That's the end of the conjunctions. We're done with those. We're going to move on to your trines. Let's go find out what a trine is, first of all, right? It lacks the power to counteract the intense pressure of the negative aspects, but it is available to soften their effects when used with understanding and willful deliberation. When there is adversity, the trine is a creative and sustaining aspect and builds hope that conditions will improve. Okay. So, where's Moon and Pluto? Let me see if you got any. You got Sun. You got any Suns and Mars? Sun trine Mars. Here we go. All right. The trine from Sun to Mars shows that you have leadership. There it is again. Leadership. Here is your soul's path. The trine from Mars shows that you have leadership ability and the self-confidence to use it creatively and fairly. Your courage and endurance enable you to accomplish very demanding tasks. You have faith that you will always be able to succeed without resorting to deception or dishonorable practices. Not only are you honest in your dealings, you pride yourself on competing successfully with those who aren't so honest. See how the competitive nature can be positive, kept in check, right? In alignment. You may behave impulsively at times. On the whole, you plan your actions efficiently and purposefully. You can always express your creative abilities in such a way that you benefit from it. If anyone dares to question your ethics, you rise in anger, generally with the support of those who know you well. With an abundance of energy to sustain you as you seek your goals, you won't be greatly restricted in expressing your talents in the life work you choose. In performing your duties, you don't challenge or threaten people, and you get along well with most of them. You like everyone, and other people think well of you too. When someone needs assistance, you will provide it, since you are secure in your own destiny, and no one can seriously deter you from it. You mind your own business and maintain privacy in your own affairs. It's not over. It is possible for you to gain prominence in the fields of law. I've been leaving some of this out of the stuff that I wrote here and was telling you earlier, but all your stuff talks about law. All of it. Law. Management. Here it is. It is possible for you to gain prominence in the fields of law, management, or sports, in creative activities such as acting and the communications media, or in working with young people as a teacher or guidance counselor. Guidance counseling is especially suitable to your capabilities. You easily win the approval and admiration of youngsters because you accept them at their own level of development, not expecting them to behave as adults. Your emotional interests are average. I didn't mean to say it like that, so you'll be... I'm cold reading. Your emotional interests are average. So you'll be able to adjust your desires in order to encourage a partnership with someone who fulfills all your expectations for a mate. You accept people for what they are and expect the same treatment. Hey. Your life is apparently untroubled. Well, and now remember, these are aspects. These are buffers, all right? These aren't your big main ones like your Scorpio rising, okay? These are buffer stuff. These are the little anecdotes. Your life is apparently untroubled and you take care of any problems without fanfare or publicity. You are content, so you're not a drama queen. You are content to let those with driving ambitions have all the rope they need, but you don't need that kind of anxiety to spoil an otherwise tranquil existence. Not that your life is uneventful, for you work diligently and play enthusiastically. But because you don't have high expectations, your investment is less burdensome. I dig that right there. Now we've got Sun and Neptune. Sun trine Neptune. Trine from the Sun, Neptune means you have an enormous talent to express, but you may never find the energy to exploit it. You take up ideas with enthusiasm, then drop them right away. Your mind has a precocious quality in that you learn quickly and with deep comprehension. You respond to what you learn both emotionally and intellectually. In reality, you are extremely psychic. Here we go. And much of your knowledge has been acquired through this facility. This may have been the reason you were bored as a child by teachers who were giving you information that you already knew intuitively. Because you learned easily and didn't have to overcome the usual obstacles, now you don't readily take on duties unless you want to very strongly. You may avoid involvement in the affairs of the community, for it is almost impossible for anyone to provoke you to respond to your social responsibilities. You can do what you want to do when you want to do it, is what that says. You can write your own ticket to your professional ambitions. Probably you will never encounter a challenge that you can't successfully meet. You are extremely creative and will be able to perform most any task assigned to you. Your greatest problem is dawdling when time is urgent or schedules must be met. Consequently, it is better for you to be self-employed so you can work at your own pace and others don't have to depend on you. Little anecdotals, not main things. Here it is again. Art, drama, education, writing, and medical research would all provide you with a wealth for creative expression. Even though your ambitions may not be defined, others will benefit from your efforts. Your personal relationships are characterized by permissiveness when you and your mate are freedom based on mutual trust. Oh boy, gosh, it all just ties together, right? Freedom based on a mutual trust. You and your beloved enjoy a blissful romantic love and can indulge in escapes to Shangri-La. You can be devoted to your mate and know that indiscretion will never come into your life. Your family will be warm and tender towards you, and your children will be a source of endless joy to you as they grow into maturity. Oh, I see that. I see all of this. See? And here it is. Your family will be warm and tender towards you. All right? This is backing up the loyalty. This is like showing you this reciprocal nature of your chart, that you are extremely protective and loyal to your family. You protect the integrity. And here it is right here, reaffirming itself with your children's love of you, right? Like, that's amazing. Moon trine Plutos show that you are a deep feeling individual, but you'll generally keep your emotions under control. Problems with vulnerability. Remember, we talked about that earlier. You generally keep your emotions under control. You do not usually waste your feelings on casual acquaintances, although you are friendly and sociable. You give others the benefit of the doubt when you decide how you feel about them. The friends you do have can count on you for help when needed. Yours is a special kind of spiritual loving that is not cast freely to the winds. You love people for themselves and not for what they outwardly represent. That's the second aspect talking about this. You have high expectations of meeting the right person who will encompass all the virtues you expect in true love companionship. You have boundaries. This one supports the other one. There it is. You have a fondness for children and young people, for they provide you with much contentment and joy. Another one there. You put them at ease and bring out their affectionate feelings. In your care, they feel comfortable, for you are naturally protective of those in your charge. The young are a source of creative expression for you. Your capacity to care for others is boundless, and you could express this by serving people who have physical liabilities or social disadvantages. Fields such as public relations, physical therapy, social welfare, financial advice. Your other aspects talk about career and finance, right? Because you have that diligence. Here it is again, exhibiting itself, or creative avocational work would be congenial to your interest. You have great insight into the uses of power and the effective management of money. Your understanding of the motive behind people's behavior is protection for you. I'm going to say this one again. Your understanding of the motives behind people's behavior is a protection for you. Do not deny your instinct. Don't say no to your gut. I'm going to read it one more time. Your understanding of the motives behind people's behavior is a protection for you. Saying no, right? Here we go. Working in personal contact with other people would be an excellent medium for you. You are enthusiastic and optimistic that any problems you do have will eventually be worked out. This is a sign that you truly enjoy life. Like this, you have a great fucking chart. Sextiles. All right, let's go one more to the sextiles. Back it up, back it up, back it up. I didn't see any squares. That's freaking amazing. Squares are like the hard ones to deal with. Like I have squares, and it's the hard. I'll get into that later. You don't have any. You don't have any. You don't have any resistance to yourself. That's what a square is, essentially. Sextile aspect compels the planet's influences to function mainly in the intellectual world of ideas. Okay, that's what this sextile aspect is. The aspect shows how a person thinks, all right, and what subjects are of great interest. The intellectual world, right? That's what the sextile is. That's what it influences. Jupiter sextile Neptune. The sextile between Jupiter and Neptune shows that you are imaginative, articulate, and extremely hopeful about the future. You study human nature, trying to learn the lessons of the past for guidance in solving the problems of tomorrow. Since you are mainly a theorist, some of your solutions may be realistically impractical. You recognize your social obligations, but often dwell on them without taking any action. However, you will help publicize important social problems in order to arouse public response. You are especially sensitive to negative political conditions and will offer your services to a candidate who promises to correct them. You are similarly sensitive to religious and social ideologies that don't seem to serve the public interest. An idealist, you are a champion for the people who are too timid to voice their objections. All leading to assertiveness, courage, leadership. Here it is again. You are ideally suited to work in religious, social, or political enterprise because you are not afraid to stand and be counted. With your imaginative understanding, you can be inspiring for your efforts. to bring about social change, social order by uniting its chaotic elements. You would also succeed in writing for the official magazine of an organization. You have the broad perspective to visualize how the individual can unwittingly be swept along by the tide of social, religious, or political concepts. Your sensitive delivery could help avert this kind of totalitarian effect. Though you recognize the dangers inherent in social structures, you are still personally vulnerable to deception. You assign qualities to your emotional relationships that may be unrealistic. Because you want so much to believe you have made a good choice, you may be unprepared for the deception and disillusionment. If you really want to know how someone feels about you, ask and find out. Be cautious and evasive when declaring your love for another. Don't get yourself out on an embarrassing limb. Your best development will come through self-discipline and practical action. I'm flop sweating. All right. Took a little flop sweat break. Here we go. Let's see. Your next sextile. Now remember, this is your intellect. This is how you're thinking about things, right? Uranus sextile Neptune indicates that you are a part of a group consciousness that is intolerant of anyone who distorts the truth or withholds it from people. You are especially suspicious of strong established organizations, have powerful government connections, but you are similarly offended by the rigid control that organized religions have over their members. You prefer to decide for yourself what to believe and how to discipline yourself through whatever faith you've chosen. A revolutionary thinker, you resent the fact that you are expected to yield to the thoughts and beliefs of people you are suspicious of. That establishment represents a threat to your personal freedom. You insist that any comment must be made voluntarily and without the slightest exercise of pressure. Fearful of the erosion of individual rights, you freely communicate this sense of danger whenever possible. You realize that people who follow others blindly are endangering their right to choose the path to their destinies. You hold that societal structures based on materialism is an affront to personal dignity of the individual. You aspire to a high degree of creative expression for everyone, regardless of the opportunities the material circumstances afford them. We've done your conjunctions, we've done your trines, we've done your sextiles. Now we're doing your oppositions. A lot of oppositions in the sun department. Let's see what that means. I don't know what that means. You've got Pluto, Jupiter, and Uranus is opposition to Sun. Okay, Sun opposition Jupiter. The Sun opposition Jupiter shows that you are energetic, enthusiastic, and well-informed in using your creative talents. You are very creative. You have a lot of creativity. Like, it's all, every fucking aspect. It's all littered with creativity. You're an extremely creative person. And what I mean to say is I hope you're doing more than knitting, because that's not enough for your creative energy. Like you should be having 15 creative projects going on at one time. You know what I mean? Like, I get the drama club now and TikTok and all that. Like, painting, like, you should be picking up all kinds of crap. And you probably feel the inclination towards it, but maybe shaming yourself about it. Like, pick a thing. No, it's anyway. You know how to put your best foot forward in achieving your ambitions, but you take great chances when you should plan carefully. But see, remember, you've got all that planning and all that stuff in the other one. This might be a struggle, but you've got the buffers of the other one. You plan things. You assume that people will make way for you as you climb to your goals. When they challenge you instead, you can't help but be disappointed. You make glowing promises, but you are irresponsible and negligent about keeping them. Your associates can call you a fair weather friend who can't be found when the going gets tough. Remember, you've got all the other ones buffering this. That's what I was talking about when I was saying that these trines and the sextiles, those are the buffers and the support that counteract these conjunction or these oppositions. All right, you've got more of that than this. That's the point. You know how to turn on the charm, magnetism and charm. There it is again. To gain the approval of those you deal with in your daily affairs. It may be, however, that you are not totally honest with yourself, or you bend the truth to gain your objectives. You are inclined to make a grand display, playing the successful role, but in fact you are constantly fearful of the competition that may one day topple you from your throne. There's the jealousy. There's the jealousy and competitive nature right there. You need to become totally aware of reality in your striving, so that you only take on exactly what you can cope with, right? It's not malicious competitive nature. It's fear-based competitive nature. Stop playing the confidence game with those around you. They know you better than to fall for it. You cannot afford to lose precious allies for the momentary pleasure of victory. You are enormously talented and creative. These qualities should be directed to such fields. Here we go. Education, the media, business management, travel, or public relations. You must have self-control in order to attain the best results in any of these endeavors, as well as the willingness to accept full responsibility of your position. You must know your limits and delegate others to perform the tasks that go beyond those limits. There it is, telling people no. You are ambitious for recognition, but as you climb to the heights of achievements, you should seek counsel. Try not to lose contact with those who have made your success possible. They will support you if you remember them for their efforts. Okay, moving on. In your romantic contacts, you are demanding and expect to be given just about everything you ask for. Lacking continuity of feelings, you may indulge yourself for a long time before taking a partner. Even then, you will grant yourself privileges that you won't allow your partner. You need to be constantly on the move, and you enjoy traveling. New places mean new people and new distractions. You must be discreet at all times, or through unexpected developments, you risk losing everything you have gained. It is hard for you to believe that such things could happen to you. Slow down, for you have a lifetime to live. Pay attention to your diet, and don't overindulge in food or drink. Plan to take vacations from your daily routine as often as possible to restore yourself to the vigorous health necessary to sustain you in your ambitions. Yep, Sun opposition Uranus. There it is. The opposition of the Sun to Uranus represents a high-strung, irritable, and nervous disposition, indicating that you often need to relax. You fear competition, and yet you seek out people who will challenge you. Because you are insecure and doubtful of your competence, your self-esteem constantly needs to be reaffirmed. Dealing successfully with others is the best way to prove yourself, you feel. You must surely realize that you are exceptionally talented and can succeed if you really want to. You can meet people at the highest level of authority and easily match them in performance. Until you learn to compromise with others, you will find it difficult to achieve your objectives. There are other points of view, and many are as valid as yours. It isn't easy, but try to listen well to what others say. It is to your advantage to realize that you don't yet know it all, that there are still many lessons to learn. If you accept this, you can go far in many professions. Science, social service, and education are some of the many meaningful fields in which you could excel. The same competitive nature spills over into your social world. Your erratic behavior can alienate you from those who may mean the most to you. You have highs and lows of temperament, which can make you unwelcome in many circles. Because of your impatience with anyone who seems dull and unexciting, You may lose friends and associates who will not tolerate your outbursts. The fact is, you wouldn't tolerate such behavior in someone else. I love it. I absolutely love that. You make enormous demands on those with whom you are emotionally involved. Your lifestyle is exciting, but you expect others to match your interests. You are promiscuous by temperament, if not by physical makeup. And this is an important part of your personality. You don't want to be confined, yet you try to confine others. Relaxation is extremely important for you. Your state of nervous irritability will improve with periodic withdrawal and rest. Relaxation is extremely important for you. Your state of nervous irritability will improve with periodic withdrawal. Your health depends on getting moments of emotional tranquility. Even in the things that are supposed to be the negative, that's what opposition is. It's supposed to be your negative stuff. I don't view it that way because, like they said in this book, pretty much, it's like this, you're supposed to be aware of this because it's going to come out. You can't prevent it, and you shouldn't try to prevent it. You just be aware. Oh, I'm getting a little nasty. I need some time by myself. Here we go. Sun and Pluto. Here you go. Sun opposition Pluto. We're almost through it. Sun opposition Pluto. The Sun opposition Pluto shows that you are defensive when challenged by others. In competition, you resort to extreme measures to guarantee winning. Offset, right? Remember the trine, which is supposed to buffer your negative aspects, and it talks about how you take pride in beating people who cheat, right? So here we are offsetting this negative aspect. In competition, you resort to extreme measures to guarantee winning. You generally assume that your opponent has more power than you and that your own position is insecure. If it becomes obvious that you cannot win, you may turn your back on the threat and pretend it doesn't exist. Nothing bothers you as much as being unsure of a situation. At times you will strike first, hoping to protect yourself, only to regret your imprudent action. At other times, you will encourage others to act while you conserve your energies. Your extremist temperament may alienate you from those whose cooperation you need to shore up your own defenses. You assert your will with such a defiance and aggression that only the stout-hearted can put up with it. You need to use logic and temper your attitude with great compromise. Be careful that you don't destroy yourself in the process. The most persistent challenge you face is to recognize the right of others to assert themselves. Now remember, you have the other aspects buffering this. You have like 3 aspects talking about how you accept people for who they are and you meet them where they're at, right? That takes away the power of this. Unless you allow this, you will be constantly harassed by people who refuse to support you. You might also experience difficulty in regaining debts owed to you. These problems will only be temporary if you learn to cooperate with those whom you feel threatened by. Stop suspecting everyone whose opinions differ from yours. In time, you will gain enough confidence to make your own decisions. You will feel sure of your own worth, and the security of your professional or domestic situation will no longer bother you. At some point in your life, you will undergo great changes in psychological realignment. At that time, you will be able to stand alone, fully self-assured. If you tolerate others rather than resent them for threatening you, you will realize that you have the authority to accomplish your objectives independently. There it is again. Pops up all over the place, don't it? Last one, I think. Mercury opposite Pluto, okay? With your Mercury opposition Pluto, mental and emotional anxiety prevails. You are extremely sensitive to any social problems you observe and cannot rest until you've made some effort to resolve them. Everything is in a state of crisis, you feel. Until you can gather your forces to solve a problem that you sincerely believe is your responsibility, you are impatient with yourself and others to get things done immediately. You are certainly competent, but you need to be constantly reassured of this. So you project crisis in your own life and with the people around you. Moderation and compromise are necessary if you wish to prevent others from breaking off with you. When challenged, you are emotionally and intellectually arrogant. Because you fear that your credibility is being questioned. You tend to draw premature conclusions based only on the obvious aspects of the situation. A more penetrating examination might reveal details that would force you to modify your judgment. You will have to cope with this problem before you can successfully handle your professional interests. Many difficulties will persist with your co-workers who will not tolerate you unless you change your attitude. You are suited for such fields as medicine, research, analysis, union activities, chemistry, and teaching. However, you must come to grips with the qualities that make it difficult for others to get along with you. Let's see, what are those? You are extremely argumentative when provoked, and this can interfere with realizing your goals. Learn to mind your own business and learn to respect the feelings of others. I love it. This can help greatly in gaining their cooperation and support when you need it, as everyone does on occasion. Others will appreciate your efforts if you compromise a little. Finding a suitable mate may not be difficult for you, but you are more likely to keep the mate you find if you will meet your partner halfway and compromise. Your strong ambition and desire for financial security may drive a wedge. Remember when they were talking about the other thing? Don't forget the qualities that made the person successful. Don't focus on the material side of the person. Focus on what made them successful, right? The qualities that made them. Here it is, right here again. Incredible. If your strong ambition and desire for financial security may drive a wedge of dissent between you. If you disagree about important matters, it would be wise to seek guidance from someone who is an authority in such things. Resist the desire to project your ideas onto your partner or to make unacceptable demands. This will alienate your mate as surely as it does your associates. Ideally, your partner's objectives should be consistent with yours. Then you can undertake a cooperative program in which you would support each other. You can enjoy continuing good health if you will try to do everything in moderation. Unwind by getting away from the pressure of competition. Your savings are very important, for they will allow you to be less anxious when unexpected expenses occur. But remember, in your relationships with others, what you are is more important than what you have. I don't think there's anything else to say other than that. Mic drop. Happy birthday. I hope you enjoyed your natal chart. And talk to you later, friend. Love you.